Robert Kiyosaki shares in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad an interesting question that he makes to the classes he teaches. He asks them, how many of you can cook a better hamburger than McDonald's? Almost all of his students say they can. And then he asks, so if most of you can cook a better hamburger, how come McDonald's makes more money than you? I bet you've come across or heard about people who make a decent amount of money selling a product that you consider of low quality. For you, the product they sell isn't that good, so you think you could make a better one. Or across someone who makes money doing something that you're pretty sure you're better than him. So if you know you can do better than that person, how come she's making money from it and you're not? How come she's making more money than you, even knowing you're doing less than what you do? Well, the first logical answer to this question would be, of course, because that person understands more about the business system than you do. That's why McDonald's will sell more hamburgers than you, despite the fact that you can cook a better one. Now, the second answer to this question is related with taking action. McDonald's was not always this gigantic company we now know. There was a time it was only an idea and they knew little of what they do now. And I'm sure there were a lot of other people who could cook a better hamburger and knew enough about the business system to start a company. Why is it then that they were the ones who started one? It is constantly said that we are now living in the information age. To learn a new skill or get a specific information, we don't have to travel long distances anymore. You don't have to wait for 2 weeks to get a book or search for a master who lives in the mountains to teach you a new skill. We no longer have to do that because information is now available and accessible to almost everyone. The information is out there and at the reach of almost everyone. Why is it then that not everybody achieves what they want in life? Why is it that not everyone gets to get the results that these books, seminars, and courses teach and promise? The reason is that even in the information age, information is not enough. Action is what produces results. As Anthony Robbins said, knowledge is only potential power until it comes into the hands of someone who knows how to get himself to take effective action. Action is what ultimately separates the few who do from the many who know. In the end, action is the only difference that makes a difference. It's easy to fall into this trap of always working to accumulate knowledge but never taking the time to apply it. I still struggle with this problem myself. There was a time I was reading too much. I still spend a lot of my time reading, but at that time, I was only accumulating knowledge. I was learning a lot of things, but I wasn't applying them. I was learning a lot of interesting tips to improve myself, but I was not actually putting them in practice. Then I came across this quote by Albert Einstein that says, "Anyone who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking." I knew I was this man, and I still act like him sometimes. I had to find a way to put in practice what I was learning, and the following technique I'm going to share with you is the most effective one I've heard about that has been helping me do exactly that. To keep this balance between knowledge and practice, the best technique I could find is the start doing it or just do it mentality. Very similar to the 3-2-1 technique that some people use to fight procrastination. I'm sure you've heard about this technique before. The same way that you've probably heard about tons of other tips and hacks to make your life better. But the question is, how many of them have you been applying? The greatest gift that extraordinarily successful people have over the average person is their ability to get themselves to take action, once said Anthony Robbins. We usually know what we have to do. We're usually conscious of the things we should and should not be working on. But we are not willing to pay the price. We just don't take the responsibility to take action, and when the desired results don't come, we feel sorry for ourselves. As Thomas Huxley said, the great hand of life is not knowledge, but action. Despite all the knowledge you might have, unless you take action, nothing really changes in the outer world. Here's my personal advice on how you can implement the Just Do It technique. First, I register in Evernote all the important tips I've learned about self-improvement that I think I should start implementing as soon as possible. I have a list with these tips in my phone, and whenever I learn a new tip, I just add it there. Then I choose one tip and decide to focus on applying only that for at least 1 week. I also write on a paper and with big letters the name of the tip I'm trying to put in practice and attach the paper to a wall in my room so I can see it every time I wake up and go to sleep. I use this as a reminder, and you'll need at least one to remind yourself of the tip. As soon as you find yourself in a situation where you can apply the technique, do it. As soon as it pops into your mind, just start doing it. Don't think too much about it. Just start putting in action what you've learned. You make a mistake, you gain experience. That's the worst thing that can happen. You can change and adjust the strategy to yourself. The main idea I want you to take from this is that there is no better time for you to put your tip in practice than the moment you remember to use it. The just do it mentality works because there is no perfect time to start doing what you have to, so doing it now is the best solution. We sometimes tend to wait for the perfect time to start putting action, and since that time never arrives, we keep procrastinating with the excuse that we still don't know enough about the tip to start applying it. But as Anthony Robbins said, it's not necessary to understand everything to be able to use everything. And besides, there are things we can only learn by practicing. So once again, doing it now is the best solution. I hope this video added some value to you, and if you like the idea of mastering a skill by modeling the people who do it best, make sure to subscribe to this channel to watch my upcoming videos. With that being said, thank you guys for watching and stay tuned.